Hello everybody. So you may be experiencing bad connection quality. I suppose if you're getting a recording, then not. So today was a bit rough in terms of getting things done. We're gonna read Krishna book, chapter 8. 1 second. So I've got the book. Okay, the title's upside down. So there's many formats to this book, but this one's a good one. Just wanted to show you the story of Trinavarta, which was yesterday an image of Krishna and the whirlwind demon. So yesterday we heard three pastimes happening. One was that Krishna struck a cart, the cart tumbled down, and then later that was just his birth ceremony, and then later Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon sent by Kamsa, took Krishna up on his shoulders into the sky, creating a whirlwind dust storm inside Vrindavan where no one could see themselves, what to speak of others, and then crashed on the weight of Krishna. Krishna made himself so heavy like a mountain. Trinavarta tried to get out of Krishna's grip, but feeling the weight of a mountain on his shoulders, his eyes popped out of his their sockets, and he twirled down, dying. And after that, Krishna was sucking Mother Yasoda's breasts, milk, and there was a lot of milk coming, and Mother Yasoda, she opened Krishna's mouth with her hand, and there saw the entire universal forms with its trees, rivers, islands, and moving and non-moving creatures, and in awe closed her eyes and thought about how amazing her child was. So this next chapter is called The Vision of the Universal Form. I hear Krishodar is having trouble with the connection. Maybe my Wi-Fi here. So after this incident, meaning the incident where Yashoda saw the universal form, Vasudeva asked the family priest, Gargamuni, remember Vasudeva is Krishna's real father, to visit Nanda Maharaj. So he's like, let's get the royal priest, astrologer, to go in order to astrologically calculate the future life of Krishna. Gargamuni was a great saintly sage who underwent many austerities and penances and was appointed priest of the Yadu dynasty. So when Gargamuni arrived at Nanda Maharaj's home, Nanda Maharaj received him properly with folded hands, and he worshipped him like the Supreme Personality of God. He offered him a nice seat and gave him a warm reception. He said, "My dear Brahman, your appearance in this household place, you only appear to enlighten. Us householders, we get caught up in our duties, but you come to remind us of our duty of self-realization. You come into our house to give us enlightenment about spiritual life. You have no other purpose to visit householders. You know, it's not a monetary transaction. It's brahmanas. They used to take care of. Uh, there would be no need for a medical insurance because brahmanas would come around and they would offer their medical services in exchange for a donation according to what your means was. So, you know, it's like medical insurance according to your income, but a little bit better because doctors come to you and help you be preventive. In this case, some brahmanas are astrologers, and in this case, it was an astrologer. Same thing, offering their services and not having to ask for money because that's the culture. You get something, you give back. Nowadays, the brahmanas, they need to almost enforce something. All right. Um, so he's saying, Vasudev, why don't householders go to you guys? Why don't we go to you guys for enlightenment? And the truth is, householders are busy, poor-hearted, Prabhupada says. They think of their engagement in their family affairs as their prime duty, and then self-realization or enlightenment and spiritual knowledge as secondary. But out of compassion, these saintly brahmanas, they go to the householder's home and get that. So, yeah, Nanda Maharaj addressed Gargamuni as one of the great authorities in astrological science. The foretelling of astrological signs such as the occurrence of a solar and lunar eclipse are wonderful calculations, and by this particular science a person can understand the future very clearly. So Gargamuni was proficient in this knowledge. By this knowledge one can understand that his previous activities were what the previous activities were and what the future activities would be, and by the result such activities one may enjoy or suffer in this life. So it's kind of like understanding the past means you can understand the future. Nanda Maharaj also addressed Gargamuni, the best of brahmanas, a brahmana who is expert in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the meaning of brahmana. The exact word used in this connection is Brahma Vidyam, which means those who know the Supreme very well. An expert brahmana is able to give reformatory facilities to the subcaste, namely Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. The Shudras observe no reformatory performances. The Brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master or priest of the Kshatriya and the Vaishya. Nanda Maharaj happened to be a Vaishya, and he accepted Gargamuni. A reminder, the Brahmanas are the priest class, or Kshatriyas are the management, kingly order, and the Vaishyas, they are the business class, and the Shudras are the worker class, so the employees. And yeah, he therefore offered so to his foster sons, namely Krishna and Balaram, to purify. So yeah, basically he gave them to his that spiritual person, like okay, here they are, our sons, for spiritual purification, you know. So Gargamuni replied, Vasudev sent me to see the reformatory performances of these boys, especially Krishna's. He said, I'm their family priest, so I'm Vasudev's family priest, and incidentally it appears to me that Krishna is the son of Devaki. By astrological calculation, Gargamuni could understand that Krishna was the son of Devaki, but he was being kept under the care of Nanda Maharaj, which Nanda did not know. Indirectly, he said that Krishna as well as Balaram were both sons of Vasudeva. Balaram was known as the son of Vasudeva, so he was indirectly saying the truth, because he had figured out by astrological calculation of Krishna and Balaram. So Nanda Maharaj, you know, he wanted, knowing Gargamuni to be a top class Brahmana, he wanted both his sons there, Krishna and Balaram, to be to accept Gargamuni as their spiritual master, even though they're so little. this was done. And Gargamuni then, calculated and noticed how Krishna must be the son of Devaki. So Balaram was known, obviously, as the son of Vasudeva, because Rohini was present there, but Nanda Maharaj didn't know about Krishna. Gargamuni indirectly disclosed the fact that Krishna was the son of Devaki. Gargamuni also warned Nanda Maharaj that if he would perform the reformatory ceremony, then Kamsa, who was naturally very sinful, would understand that Krishna was the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So he kind of warned them to not do that. So, according to astrological calculation, Devaki could not have a female child. Although everyone thought that the 8th child of Devaki was female, in this way Gargamuni intimated to Nanda that the female child was born of Yashoda and that Krishna was born of Devaki, and that they were exchanged. The female child, or Durga, also informed Kamsa that the child who would kill him was already born somewhere else. Gargamuni stated, "If I give your child a name, and if he fulfills the prophecy of the female child to Kamsa, then it may be that the sinful demon will come and kill this child also after the name-giving ceremony. But I don't want to become responsible for all these future calamities." So he didn't want to make a big scene of what's going on and, reveal the truth to everybody. So Nanda Maharaj said, if there's such a danger, then better not to plan any gorgeous name-giving ceremony. So that was the point, to do a name-giving ceremony, but not a lavishly happening ceremony. It would be better for you to simply chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purificatory process. We belong to the twice-born caste, and I'm taking the opportunity of your presence. So twice-born refers to being, you've taken birth once, right, from your mother, but then you're born again when you get initiated. And that's kind of the name-giving ceremony. So please perform the name-giving ceremony without external pomp. Nanda Maharaj wanted to keep the name-giving ceremony a secret and yet take advantage of Gargamuni's performing this ceremony. So Gargamuni, who was eagerly requested by Nanda Maharaj, he performed the name-giving ceremony as secretly as possible in the cow shed of Nanda Maharaj. He informed Nanda Maharaj that Balaram, the son of Rohini, would be very pleasing to his family members and relatives and therefore would be called Ram. In the future, he would be extraordinarily strong and therefore would be called Balaram. Gargamuni said, because your family and the family of the Yadus are so intimately connected and attracted, therefore his name will also be Sankarshan. This means that Gargamuni awarded 3 names to the son of Rohini, namely Balaram, Sankarshan and Baladev, but he carefully did not disclose the fact that Balaram also appeared in the womb of Devaki and was subsequently transferred to the womb of Rohini. Krishna and Balaram are real brothers, being originally sons of Devaki. So they're real brothers, but he didn't disclose that fact, because they're both born from Devaki. Gargamuni then informed Nanda Maharaj, as far as the other boy is concerned, this child has taken different bodily complexion in different yugas. So he's taken up different colors, bodily complexion in different times. First of all, he assumed the white color. Then he assumed the color red. Then yellow. And now he's assumed the color black. Besides that, he was formerly the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, his name should be Vasudev. So you just heard it, right? Vasudev and Vasudev. So the son of, sometimes it's the same name, but the A is longer, Vasudev. So when we say Vasudev, it's Krishna. When we say Vasudev, it's his father. So because he was formerly the son of Vasudeva, therefore he should be Vasudev as well as Krishna. Some people will call him Krishna and some will call him Vasudev. But one thing you must know, this son has had many other names and activities due to his different pastimes. Gargamuni gave Nanda Maharaj a further hint that his son will also be called Giridhari because of his uncommon pastimes of lifting Govardhan hill. So this is, I don't know how he knew that, but the astrologers can see the future. So he he gave a hint of what is to come by calling him Giridhari, uh, because of his uncommon pastimes of lifting Govardhan Hill. I'm not going to give more spoilers. Since he could understand everything past and future, he said, I know everything about his activities and name, but others do not know. This child will be very pleasing to all the cowmen and cows. Being very popular in Vrindavan, he will be the cause of all good fortune for you. Because of his presence, you will overcome all kinds of material calamities, despite opposing elements. Gargamuni continued to say, My dear king of Vraja, in his previous births, this child many times protected righteous persons from the hands of rogues and thieves whenever there is political disruption. Your child is so powerful that anyone who will become a devotee of your boy will never be troubled by enemies. Just as demigods are always protected by Lord Vishnu, so devotees of your child will always be protected by Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This child will grow in power, beauty, opulence, in everything on the level of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, I would advise that you protect him very carefully so that he may grow without disturbance. Gargamuni further informed Nanda Maharaj that because he was a great devotee of Narayan, Lord Narayan gave a son who was equal to him. If you have a son that's equal to Narayan, there's no option then for it to be Narayan. Narayan is not a name for Vishnu and Krishna. So at the same time, he indicated, your son will be disturbed by so many demons, so be careful and protect him. In this way, Gargamuni convinced Nanda Maharaj that Narayan himself had become his son. In various ways, he described the transcendental qualities of his son. After giving this information, Gargamuni returned home. Nanda Maharaj began to think of himself as the most fortunate person, and he was very satisfied to be benedicted in this way. A short time after this incident, both Balaram and Krishna began to crawl on their hands and knees. So we heard how Krishna was initially only on his back, and then near his first birthday he could go on the front too. On his back he had managed to kill Putana, and then on his front Trinavarta, and now he's on his hands and knees. Both Krishna and Balaram, they were crawling like that. They pleased their mothers. The bells tied to their waists and ankles sounded fascinating, and they would move around very pleasingly. They would be frightened by others and would immediately hurry to their mothers for protection. They would act just like ordinary children. Sometimes they would fall into the clay and mud of Vrindavan and would approach their mothers smeared in clay and saffron. They were actually smeared with saffron and sandalwood pulp by their mothers, but due to crawling over muddy clay, they would simultaneously smear their bodies with clay. So the parents would, out of love, smear the children in sandalwood pulp and saffron. We know how saffron is a fairly expensive, these days anyways, spice. And then you've got clay. And then you've got, also sandalwood pulp, I meant to say. As soon as they would come crawling to their mothers. Yashoda and Rohini would take them on their laps, covering the lower portion of their saris, allow them to suck their breasts. When the babies were sucking their breasts, the mothers would see small teeth coming in. Thus their joy would be intensified to see their children grow. Sometimes the naughty babies would crawl up to the cowshed, catch the tail of a calf and stand up. The calves, being disturbed, would immediately begin running here and there, and the children would be dragged over clay and cow dung. To see this fun, Yashoda and Rohini would call all their neighboring friends the gopis. Upon seeing these childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, the gopis would be merged in transcendental bliss. In their enjoyment, they would laugh very loudly. So imagine that. Little baby Krishna crawling on their knees, and Balaram, and arms, and then getting hold of a little calf's tail, and then holding on to them while the calf is running around in the mud and dung. And so they are having fun. Both Krishna and Balaram were so restless that their mothers Yashoda and Rohini would try to protect them from cows, bulls, monkeys, water, fire, birds, while they were executing their household duties. Always being anxious, like mothers would be, to protect the children and to execute their duties, they were not tranquil. In a very short time, both Krishna and Balaram began to stand up and slightly move on their legs. When Krishna and Balaram began to walk, other friends of the same age joined them, and together they began to give the highest transcendental pleasure to the gopis, specifically to Mother Yashoda and Rohini. All the gopi friends of Yashoda and Rohini enjoyed the naughty, childish activities of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. In order to enjoy further transcendental bliss, they all assembled and went to Mother Yashoda to lodge complaints against the restless boys. When Krishna was sitting before Mother Yashoda, all the elderly gopis began to lodge complaints against Mother Yashoda. All the other gopis against Krishna, they were lodging complaints against Krishna. They said, "Dear Yashoda, why don't you restrict your naughty Krishna? He comes to our house along with Balaram every morning and evening before milking of the cows. They let loose the calves, and the calves drink all the milk of the cows. So when we go to milk the cows, we find no milk, and we have to return with empty pots. If we warn Krishna and Balaram about doing this, they simply smile charmingly, and we cannot do anything. Also, your Krishna and Balaram find great pleasure in stealing our stock of yogurt and butter from wherever we keep it. When Krishna and Balaram are caught stealing the yogurt and butter, they say, 'Why do you charge us with stealing? Do you think that butter and yogurt are scarcity in our house?' They say, 'Why would we have to steal? We have enough butter and yogurt in our house.' Sometimes they steal butter, yogurt, and milk and distribute them to the monkeys. When the monkeys are well fed and do not take any more, then your boys chide. This milk and butter and yogurt are useless. Not even the monkeys won't take it. They break the pots and throw them hither and thither." It was no joke when there's Prabhupada saying naughty, childish activities. Yeah. If we keep our stock of yogurt, butter, and milk in a solitary, dark place, your Krishna and Balaram find it in the darkness by the glaring effulgence of the ornaments and jewels on their bodies. If by chance they cannot find the hidden butter and yogurt, they go to our little babies and pinch their bodies so that they cry, and then they go away. So they're Krishna and Balaram going to pinch little babies, the babies of the gopis, and then run away once they start crying. If we keep our stock of butter and yogurt high on the ceiling, high on a swing, although it is beyond their reach, they arrange to reach it by piling all kinds of wood blocks and crates and on a grinding machine, and if they cannot reach, they make a hole in the pot so that they throw a stone or knock it with a piece of stick or wood, and then the yogurt will come and butter will come pouring down. We think therefore that you better take all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of your children. That's their what the gopis were saying. On hearing this, Yashoda would say, "All right, I'll take all the jewels from Krishna so that he cannot see the butter hidden in the darkness." So they were convinced that the jewels so take the jewels off and then they won't find it in the dark rooms. Then the gopis would say, no, don't do this. What good will you do by taking away the jewels? We don't know what kind of boys these are, but even without ornaments, they spread some kind of effulgence so that even in darkness, they can see everything. So they're saying it's not actually the jewels. Then Mother Yashoda would inform them, "All right, keep your butter and yogurt carefully so that they may not reach it." In reply, Gopi said, "Yes, actually we do so, but we're sometimes engaged in our household activities. These naughty boys enter our homes somehow or other and spoil everything. Sometimes, being unable to steal our butter and yogurt out of anger, they pass urine on the clean floor and sometimes spit on it. Just see your boy now. He is hearing this complaint." As he's hearing this complaint, all day they simply make arrangements to steal our butter and yogurt, and now they're sitting just like very silent good boys. Just see his face. So Krishna and Balaram were present, and they're acting like saints. When Mother Yashoda thought to chastise her boy after hearing all the complaints, she saw his pitiable face, and smiling, she did not chastise him. So yeah, they were cute, and Mother Yashoda couldn't chastise her. Another day, when Krishna and Balaram were playing with their friends, all the boys joined Balaram and told Mother Yashoda that Krishna had eaten clay. So they told on him, and on hearing this, Mother Yashoda caught hold of Krishna's hand and said, "My dear Krishna, why have you eaten earth in a solitary place? Just see, all your friends, including Balaram, are complaining about you." Being afraid of his mother, Krishna replied, "My dear mother, all these boys, including elder brother Balaram, are speaking lies against me." So remember, Balaram was born not a little bit before Krishna. He was the seventh child of Devaki. "I have never eaten clay. My elder brother Balaram, while playing with me today, became angry, and therefore he has joined the other boys to complain against me. They have all combined together to complain, so you will get angry and chastise me. So, if you think they are truthful, then you can look within my mouth to see whether I have taken clay or not." His mother replied, "All right, if you have actually taken any clay, then just open your mouth, I shall see." So then, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, ordered by his mother, immediately opened up his mouth. The complete opulence of creation. So then Mother Yashoda saw within the mouth the complete opulence of creation. She saw the entire outer space in all directions, mountains, islands, oceans, seas, planets, air, fire, moon, and stars. Along with the moon and the stars, she also saw the entire elements, water, sky, the extensive ethereal existence, along with the total ego and the products of the senses and the controller of the senses, all the demigods, the objects of the senses like the sound, smell, touch, etc., and the three qualities of material nature. She also could perceive that within his mouth were all living entities, eternal time, material nature, spiritual nature, activities, consciousness, and different forms of the whole creation. Yashoda would find within the mouth of her child everything necessary for cosmic manifestation. She also saw within his mouth herself taking Krishna on her lap and having him sucking her breast. Upon seeing all this, she became struck with awe and began to wonder whether she was dreaming or actually seeing something extraordinary. She concluded that she was either dreaming or seeing the play of the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She thought that she had become mad, mentally deranged, to see all these wonderful things. Then she thought, it may be cosmic mystic power attained by my child, and therefore I am perplexed by such visions within his mouth. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose energy bodily self and bodily possessions are conceived. So she's like, he must have achieved some powers, mystic powers, and and must have gotten it from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then she said, let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose illusory energy I am thinking that Maharaj Nanda is my husband and Krishna is my son, and that all properties of Nanda Maharaj belong to me, and that all coward men and women are my subjects. All this misconception is due to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Let me pray to him that he may protect me always. So she was seeing the grand vision of things. Now, while Mother Yashoda was thinking in this high philosophical way, Lord Krishna again expanded his internal energy just to bewilder her with maternal affection. Immediately, Mother Yashoda forgot all the philosophical speculation and accepted Krishna as her own child. She took him on her lap and became overwhelmed with maternal affection. She thus began to think Krishna is not understandable to the masses through the gross process of knowledge, but he can be perceived through the Upanishads and the Vedanta or mystic yoga system and in Sankhya philosophy. Then she began to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her own begotten child. Certainly, Mother Yashoda had executed many pious activities, as a result of which she had gotten the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as her own son, who sucked milk from her breast. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj also must have performed many great sacrifices and pious activities for Lord Krishna to become his son and address him as father. But it is surprising that Vasudeva and Devaki did not enjoy the transcendental bliss of Krishna's childhood pastimes, although Krishna was their real son. The childhood pastimes of Krishna are glorified even today by many sages and saints, but Vasudeva and Devaki could not enjoy such pastimes personally. The reason for this was explained by Sukadeva to Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit had asked Sukadeva Goswami, and they're the main storytellers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Is based mostly on the questions of Maharaj Parikshit and the answers of Sukadeva Goswami. And one of the questions was, Why is it that Vasudeva and Devaki didn't enjoy the childhood pastimes of Krishna and Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj did? So the answers of Sukadeva Goswami is that when the best of the Vasus of the name Drona, along with his wife Dhara, were ordered to increase progeny by Lord Brahma, they said unto him, Dear father, we are seeking your benediction. Drona and Dhara then took benediction from Brahma that in the future, when they would take birth again within the universe, the Supreme Lord Krishna, in his most attractive feature of childhood, would absorb their whole attention. Their dealings with Krishna would be so powerful that simply by hearing of Krishna's childhood activities with them, anyone could very easily cross over the nescience of birth and death. Lord Brahma agreed to give them the benediction, and as a result, the same Drona appeared as Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, and Dhara appeared as Yashoda, the wife of Nanda. In this way, Nanda Maharaj and his wife Mother Yashoda developed their unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having gotten him as their son. And all the gopis and cowardmen who were associates of Krishna naturally developed their own different feelings of love for Krishna. Therefore, just to fulfill the benediction of Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna appeared along with his plenary expansion, Balarama, and performed all kinds of childhood pastimes in order to increase the transcendental pleasures of all the residents of Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 8th chapter of Krishna, Vision of the Universal Form. So that was the 8th chapter. Let me see, maybe I can get more on that response of Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit as to why yeah, I can get that from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's just been 30 minutes. Thank you so much for listening. I said questions as well. I mean, if anybody wants to text me any questions, please do so, and I can answer them or write them here. I thought the comments could be available for questions and stuff, but anyways, I don't want to keep anybody. Feel free to go to bed. I'm gonna check if there's any texts. All right, well, nice ending to the weekend of Krishna's naughty pastimes. Tomorrow we'll be reading Mother Yashoda, Binding Lord Krishna, chapter 9. See, it sounds like Krishna may get the sauce after all. Okay, good night.